Stop earning with your time and start earning with your mind. So I'm starting the year telling you things of what you shouldn't be doing instead of what you should be doing. So guys, this is a fantastic firesome entry to 2024. We are here ready to start our challenges, to start focusing on what our goals should be. Hopefully you should have worked on them back in 2023. Woof, that seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? But guys, today I really want to be focusing on what we shouldn't be doing with ourselves. So it's going to be reflective of ourselves that's going to progress onto what we do or what not to do in our businesses. If you don't already know me, my name is Anita Horry. I am founder of Anita Horry Academy and Pilates business coach and teacher trainer, focusing specifically on the Pilates industry. So I know your pains. I am here to serve you. So this is a fantastic entry to 2024. So in today's video, I am focusing on the four things you should not be doing in 2024 in order to join those 1% of successful entrepreneurs. And it's going to really tune in to how you're going to be running your business. So it's going to include small things, doing very small things daily. So we're starting in January. We want to be starting with doing small things because it is the small things that are going to be compounding into bigger things. Bigger things compound into dollars into your bank account. So this isn't really about what tasks you should not be doing. This is about what habits you should not be doing, because tasks at this stage are not important. Habits are extremely important. We're starting the year, we want to start on the right foot, starting with the right habits or ditching old unproductive habits. First things first, stop earning with your time and start earning with your mind. What does that mean? Stop trading time for money. How many times have I said this? I rented on in many videos, and you can see that earning time, earning your income just by giving Pilates classes, especially if you only give one-to-ones. If you are just going to go on that trajectory of giving a one-to-one service to a client, you are not going to be bringing the wealth that you are dreaming of. You are needing to increase that volume to be able to earn your value for yourself and for your family. So you could be doing a certain number of things. First things first is, okay, you're starting one-to-one, then start thinking, that's why I'm saying start earning with your mind. Start thinking on how your intellect, your knowledge, your skill you can share with more people in one time. So obviously the no-brainer is do your group sessions, do group classes. If you only have access to one piece of Pilates apparatus, you're going to be doing one-to-ones. Absolutely, I get it. But why don't you go and teach Pilates mat classes in community hall or in another location, maybe in a gym or a fitness center, wherever you can. Teach Pilates group classes to be able to multiply those sales and also focus on creating more impact on the community. And you never know, these people who are doing your mat classes initially might want to be taking more private sessions with you. The next big thing here is that you should move that on to creating a multiple effect on what you're giving. So if you are there giving group classes, that's going to set you to a higher standard than just giving one-to-ones. But what if you start doing workshops? What if you start doing courses? What if you start doing retreats where instead of teaching 6, 8, 10 people at a time, you're going to be attracting multiple more people. And if you really want to take it another level higher, and this is where your mind has to come to play, is translating the skill that you have to create an online course or create some content that you're going to be able to distribute to the world all over. So doing online courses, running workshops, getting your own tribe, starting to accumulate your own tribe, maybe even opening up your own social media group. And you're going to have people from all over the world that's going to be integrating, and then you can sell them your digital products. That's when you start working with your mind. Next is stop working in a messy space. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean your physical space. This is going to be your physical and your mental space. So let's just start with the physical part. So obviously, as you know, working in a messy and dirty Pilates studio isn't going to be effective for you, and it's not going to be bringing you any more clients, especially if you have an unsafe place to work from. So make sure that everything is tidy, in order in your studio, and it's clean and it's clean enough. Make sure the floors are clean, under the reformers are cleaned properly. There's nothing more horrible to see on a reformer than somebody else's hair when you're working out. So make sure your reformers are clean, make sure your equipment is cleaned regularly. And if you want to learn a little bit more about how to maintain your Pilates studio, I've got a little treat coming up for you, because I'm doing a video specifically for that. So if you are interested to learn a little bit more about that, drop me a comment below, because I'll make sure that I'll answer any of your questions. Anything that you want to specifically know about how to maintain your studio, I'll be able to help you with. Now, okay, talking about Pilates equipment, make sure that's all clean, that's all tidy, it's regularly cleaned. It's not just a once a month job. And then the whole aesthetics of your place is clean, and you're not worried about having people tripping over things. And even make sure that if you have a water machine, make sure that it's functioning properly, there's no water spillages, because that's where accidents can happen. The other thing you need to focus on is the small pieces of apparatus, because you know the small bits can be very unpleasing to the eyes if you're leaving them lying around. I would really encourage you to put everything in a cupboard, put it away, lock it away, and then whenever you need it, you're going to be taking it out, use it, and then put it back in the cupboard after it's being used. So that makes your studio very aesthetically pleasing and also tidy and organized. And when you have an organized space, you're going to have more focus and your classes are going to be amazing. Now, the other space you've got to focus on here is also your workspace. If you are behind your desk, if you're doing your admin job, more than likely, if you are running a Pilates studio, you are wearing the Pilates teacher's hat and you're also wearing the Pilates business owner's hat. So you are going to be sitting at a desk and working at a computer. In your desk space, in your desk area, you make sure that everything is organized, that you don't have anyone distracting you. Make sure your studio is clean, your office is clean. If you don't have an office and you're doing this on a kitchen table, I really, really urge you to find a space. This is the new year. Make this your first thing to do to clear your mind and clear your space. Make sure this is the first thing that you do, that you clear your space so you've got a very empty and clean desk. If you have invoices, if you have receipts, you put them away in folders. Your laptop has its own space. You have maybe your coffee, your drink, whatever you have close by, but you don't have anything that's going to distract you. More than anything, put your phone away. Don't let your phone distract you. Don't let social media distract you. Put your phone away and 1000% focus on the task that you're doing. This is going to super help you getting your work done. I'm going to be getting onto that in a very short while. The next space you need to be thinking about is your mind. Your mind, especially if your mind races like mine, you really need to learn how to tame your mind. So keep your mind free of mess. So how do you do that? You say to me, well, Anita, I've got so many things that I'm thinking about. I've got so many ideas, so many bright ideas. I just don't know how to do them. I don't have the time on the day, and I really don't know where to start. I totally get you. This is one thing that I've actually struggled with for so many years. I have to say, I am a creator, I'm creative, I really come up with some amazing ideas, and then because I've got so many ideas, because I've got so many things that I'm thinking about, I get stuck. And I'm sure that you've had this, and maybe you're thinking about new programs for your clients, maybe you're thinking about creating workshops and you just don't know where to start. Well, this is where you really need to set yourself some standards. Have you ever heard of the acrasia effect? So Victor Hugo, the famous writer who wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame, had a whole year to write a book. Mr. Hugo, instead of actually working on his plan, on his book, he let 6 months pass without even writing one letter. So what's happened? And the publisher got a little bit peeved off and he's given him a deadline, 6 months or else. Well, then what happened? Mr. Hugo decided to wrap his sleeves up and start getting to work. So he managed to get rid of all his distractions and focus purely on just writing his book. And his book was written within 2 weeks of the deadline. But do you want to have the same acrasia effect as Mr. Hugo did? I guess not. You know, you really want to be starting to plan. So let's think about this. What is the acrasia effect, first of all? The acrasia effect, it is the state of acting against your better judgment. So you know that maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Maybe you shouldn't be on social media. Maybe you shouldn't be watching Netflix all through the night. Maybe you shouldn't be spending too much time on things that don't really matter. So there you have it. Having that distraction in your life, having all these things that are going to disturb what your focus should be, are going to stop you from getting to your desired effects, to your desired goals, to your desired dreams. And this happens to many, many people. This is why people don't become successful. It's not really procrastination. Do not confuse procrastination with not being focused. You really need to set yourself some goals. How do you do this? Okay, so this is how I do this. This is how I manage to get things done. Chunk out times where you're going to be doing tasks. So if you want to have a certain goal and you want to work to that goal, every single week I would recommend that you chunk out time to make sure that you are achieving these goals. So if you want to learn how to play golf, you're going to take lessons from a pro and you're going to commit to taking this time, right? So you're going to be seeing your golf coach every week, maybe once, twice, three times a week. You're going to commit 2 to 3 hours every time, and you're going to see a progress, correct? I mean, my teacher, Tony Robbins, talks about this all the time. He talks about learning how to do something exceptionally well in the shortest period of time. And if you are wanting to actually achieve anything, you have to take that same attitude. You want to make sure that you complete your task in the shortest and most effective period of time. So chunking out every single week, so you know that in the morning you're going to have this time, you're going to be doing this, and then plan every single week. You see, if you had to see my schedule, I have got days where I know I take absolutely 0 calls, and I have days where I don't teach at all. So I only block teaching to specific days of the week. And then my coaching days are different days of the week, and then I have my family time, and then I have my me time every single week. I have my projects, I'm writing my own book, I write my own schedules, I have time for my videos, I have time for my podcasts, and I have time for new projects. And if I want to work on a new project, I actually fit it into my schedule every week, and I say, this is just this project, nothing else. And in that sense, I know that I'm making progress, because when I see that whole progress coming every single week, I'm doing this, you're going to see that progress. I see that progress. And this is how I've managed to create my own teacher training programs. I've managed to bring a family up. I've managed to have multiple businesses, run retreats, and do coaching programs. It's because I was disciplined. To not mistake discipline with success. Success doesn't come on its own. So really focus on what your goal is and actually make an actionable plan. And being successful means that you're going to be above the rest, above your competition when it comes to your clients. So if you've got a request from your clients and you're gonna say, well, I'll get back to my client next week, or I'm gonna get back to my client tomorrow. No, make sure that you're gonna top the list by getting back to your clients straight away. I'm not asking you to be on your phone 24 hours a day. Absolutely not, because then you might be distracted from actually getting anything done. But If you say this, between this and this time, I'm going to make sure that I check all my emails, check all my messenger messages, check all my WhatsApp messages, and then that time my clients know that I'm going to be replying to them. You know, you're getting back to them within a 24-hour window. So you're going to be replying to your clients straight away. Make sure that if you have any persons, any people that you work with, people like contractors or employees or whoever that you deal with, you give them a deadline, because there's nothing that's going to happen unless you give yourself and your team a deadline. And if you don't have a team, bear that in mind, so that when you start employing people, you have a guideline to say to them, you gotta finish this by this specific period. Now, if you feel that's maybe a little bit too dictatorial because you don't really know their work, you're gonna ask them, what do you recommend the deadline is going to be for this? And if they say, well, I'll have it to you by next week. Okay, are you sure next week is going to be a good deadline for you? Yes, all right. So you stick with that. But if next week happens and they're not finishing their task, then you say, well, hang on a minute. You promised me it's going to be by next week. I didn't give you the deadline. Now the onus is on you. So if you're not delivering, I'm gonna have to look for somebody else. And trust me, guys, I have made this mistake over and over again, especially as my business grew and I started working with an international team of people. It started to become harder and harder for me to figure out exactly where I am with all my team. So what happened is I changed my whole world around, I changed my team, and I started getting results, because instead of me giving them the deadlines, they started giving me advice on where they think they should be within a specific period of time. And then everybody's happy because the communication channels were much clearer, and you know, you are able to get a lot more done knowing that you have a step, you have a guide, and you have a plan that by this stage we're going to be at this level, by this stage we're going to be at this level, and you know you are setting yourself up for progress. And a final thing you need to know about this is that you should stop relying on motivation and start relying on principle. So don't do things just because you're motivated to do things, or don't do things because they give you this excitement feeling, and then you don't want to be doing things that are going to be boring. You know, many times in our forums I ask the question about what jobs people and teachers don't want to be doing, or business owners don't want to be doing, and the results that I get most of the time is, I don't want to be doing any admin work, I don't want to be doing the marketing part, and I leave that always to the last minute. When my CPA, when my accountant asks for the documents, I will hand them over to him. Start working on discipline. Start working on making sure that you get the hardest parts first before you do all the enjoyable stuff. So if bookkeeping is the worst part, then do that first. And then you know you've got that out of the way, and then you can get on with your day. You can get on with enjoying the rest of your time, because at the end of the day, this is what we're here for. We're here to enjoy the few years we have on this earth. Next is stop doing things on your own. So if you know that it's becoming harder and harder for you to manage your business, harder and harder to manage that family life, the equation of growing a business, but also growing a family, or maybe even taking time for yourself, then stop. Stop right now and stop doing everything on your own. And it's okay for you to say to me, but Anita, I don't have the money to go out and contract out people to come and help me. I really don't. I appreciate that. I was there. I've been there for so many years. There was always this fear that if I spent the money, I'm not going to have enough to survive. If I spent the money on paying someone else to do something, then I'm not going to manage to proceed to progress. That is a whole and utter nonsense piece of thought that you have in your head. Yes, it is scary. Fear blocks us from doing many, many things. But if you're always going to be living in that state of fear, then nothing is going to happen. Seriously, nothing is going to happen. And I keep going back to what Tony Robbins says. Tony Robbins has been a huge influence for me and my family. In fact, all of my family now work under his guidelines, because we feel that the focus here is for us to move forward. So if we're going to be living in that fear element, we're always worried whether we should be doing this, or whether we should be moving forward, whether we should be taking any different projects, then we're never going to get anything done. So the first thing that I would really advise you to do, if you are afraid to subcontract out, so maybe even the smallest little pieces of work that are going to cost you minimal amount of money, is if you're worried about giving these away, then see whether you can offer this kind of work to your family. Then you know you're helping your family, maybe your kids, if you don't have kids, maybe anyone else, maybe friends of yours that you know need some money, and you can say to them, can you help me out with this? And it could be something simple and stupid like coming to your house and helping you clean. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean to be a huge thing, but remember, every single thing that you do that's not generating you an income is superfluous to your focus and to your flow. So you have to consider getting people to do stuff, even though you might say, you know what, I like it, I'm creative, you know what, I'll share something with you guys. I am in the process of decorating my studio. I'm not talking about my Pilates studio, I'm talking about my work studio, when I spend time with my coaching clients, and soon enough, my YouTube followers are going to see my new studio. And I've taken 2 weeks off. I'm not working with any coaching clients. I'm not teaching. I'm not doing anything other than creating content for YouTube and doing the stuff I want to be doing. I've just been to a beautiful vacation in Egypt, and that was amazing. But now it's time to start. And my starting the new page is decorating my studio. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, Anita, you are really enjoying this. You're enjoying the change, you're enjoying the transformation, you're seeing how this is all going to be evolving, and you're super excited about seeing the end result. But hang on a minute, shouldn't you be paying someone to be doing this for you? And then I committed and I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to give myself a deadline. So I worked with my partner and we set a deadline to finish everything, absolutely everything, in a day. And it's lasted a little bit longer than that. It's lasted a day and a half, but we're just nearly there. We're just doing the finishing touches on it. And we thought, okay, that's it, because we've created a deadline and we knew that we don't want to be spending any more time on that. We're not going to be focusing on paying anybody else to do the work for us. For me, it was very much a case of a passion that I have. I love decorating, I love creating, as I've already said, and creating that time to just see something evolve has really given me so many new ideas for my own business. So there's nothing wrong with you doing some simple stuff in your own business, in your own home, in your own work. But if it's going to be an everyday job, if you have to do work every single day that you know you could pass on to somebody else, then of course it's not worth your while. You really need to focus on passing that on and figure out a way of reducing other costs so that you can get help, and then you'll be able to focus more onto your business. I don't know how many of you ever think, once I get past this problem, I know that life's going to be okay. I'm going to be so much happier and I'm not going to have any problems ever again. Well, we all know that life is just going to keep throwing problems at us. And many times the problems are even bigger than the ones we've had in the past. So the way that problems work is that, okay, so I'm getting rid of this problem, I'll push that away, I've done that, and then another problem crops up and you keep going, I'll push that away, rather than you saying, well, I'm going to push that away, I'm just going to just say, you know what, I need to learn how to deal with my problems, how to switch my mind from all these things that are going to keep cropping up, because they are going to constantly crop up. There's never going to be a day where you have absolutely no problems. In fact, the bigger the business, the bigger the problems, right? But how are you going to deal with them? Mindfulness, my friends, self-care. So think about creating a space in your house, in your office, in your studio, wherever you are, to literally take 5-10 minutes, morning, day, whatever you need it. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to be doing mindfulness in the morning. You know what? Maybe it's not going to work for you. I know so many people, especially on social media, I see this so much, that people come up with these ideas of, oh, you should be doing your mindfulness in the morning when it's clear, you got nothing in your head. Well, it doesn't need to be like that, because it's putting too many restrictions in your already very tight schedule. So focus on just being mindful whenever you get that thought in your head, when you start feeling a little bit erratic, when your mind start racing with you, just practicing mindfulness. And we are amazing at creating mindfulness situations because we have awareness of our breath, and our breath can totally help us release the anxiety, release the stress, release the tensions, and know that we're going to be okay. We've made it so far. We've made it through life so far. So knowing that we have problems, but we're going to be okay, because we're going to know how to manage them. And this is the most important thing, knowing that you are going to manage your problems and you are going to step up to the next level. Now, of course, it goes hand in hand with the topic that I mentioned earlier, and that is getting help. So if you know that you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and you're thinking, my problems are increasing more and more and more, go ahead and seek the help that you think you need. If it's your business, there are many business groups out there, and if you want to work with a coach, I'm available for you to work with. I can give you a free one-to-one consultation just to see how I can help you, where you're stuck at the moment, and how I can help you with your goals and setting these goals and making sure that you have strategies to work for your business and for your personal life. And then if you feel that you need a little bit more information, a bit more maybe group work, then there are other ways to do this as well. You can work with other people. So you are not alone in this, and just bear this in mind, because the world today has changed from so many decades ago. When I first started, there was nothing like this. So now you're so lucky to have this whole empowerment situation where you have so many business owners. It doesn't have to be anyone from the Pilates industry. If you feel you need some help with your business, seek that help. And you don't have to seek help from someone that you need to pay. If you feel you don't have that ability to pay, then initially work with someone who can help you. But the most trajectory comes from actually writing a check, cutting a check out for somebody's services. This has always been the case for me. I have always tried to shortcut ways, or maybe trying to figure out things for myself. And then what happened is that's actually taking me longer in time and cost me more, because I've made so many mistakes. And then once I've started working with coaches, once I've started working with people who knew exactly what they were doing and helped me, guide me through the way, then I started seeing that traction in my business, and I started seeing that my whole world started opening up. Really, really focus on getting the help that you need, because that's the only way you're going to see progress in your personal life and in your business. Finally, stop draining relationships. I wonder how many of you have got friendships since high school. How many people are in your circle? Do you have the majority of your circle as old friends that you've known all your life? When we're at high school, we're all roughly on the same level. And then maybe one or two of us will start working up their trajectory, they start leveling up, and then all the other friends are still pulling them back. So what happens is that there's no real, for the two that are above, there's no real involvement. There's no real, if they're going to keep hanging on to their old friends, there's no real improvement in their lives, in the way that they're going to be progressing. So I don't know if you've ever heard the quote by Jim Rohn, who says, you are the average of the people that you spend most time with. So basically what he's saying is that you are the equivalent of 95% of the people that you spend the most time with. You are going to be as successful in your health, in your wealth, in your relationships as the people that you're spending the most time with. So I encourage you to look at the circle you're currently with and see whether you're the one pulling them up or whether you're all there to pull each other up. Do you have regular meetups where you're all lifting each other up, or do you feel that you're draining because everybody's asking so much from you? You know, I feel so much growth when I attend these conferences and these events, when I am with my peers and with these amazing Pilates teachers and some business, some conferences that I go to that have absolutely nothing to do with Pilates, and I see such amazing work happening, and then the relationships that I build with these guys, because these guys have got visions, have got dreams, have got expectations that my high school friends would never ever even dream about. So you've got to focus on where you want to be. If you're going to be spending too much time with people who are going to drain you, ditch them. And there are many ways that you can do that. And if you feel that you've got expectations and people are wanting so much of you and you're seeing no progress in yourself, then you're going to need to change your relationships with these people. I'm not asking you to say to them, I'm going to dump you out of my life, I'm never going to see you again. But gradually take your time to detach yourself from these people and finding a new circle, finding a new group of people. And guys, I'm not talking about a group of people on social media. No, you need to connect with people physically, physical relationships where you are there with them, you are actually experiencing beautiful things together, because this is where you see more growth. Yeah, social media helps, it does help us, but it's not the be all and end all. Really have to focus on getting decent relationships with people and having, even if you don't physically see the person, but you're seeing them online, that's always going to help. Even if you are maybe in a mastermind group, maybe you are in a community of people where you regularly speak, and I'm not asking you to have lots and lots of groups either. Really focus on a handful of professionals, a handful of people. And this is where you see the growth. And finally, just relative to what I'm saying here about your friends, you could take the same stance with your clients. If you have clients that are draining you, you don't want to be spending time and time again trying to help them, trying to fix their problems, and they're just being as hard-headed and as obnoxious and as arrogant with you as they were before. You don't want to have those kind of clients. You want clients that are very happy to come to you and you're very happy to serve. So if you are finding that some of your clients are really draining you and they're not making the most out of what you have to offer them, then dump them. And there's no reason why you can't dump them. You're going to make space for better and bigger clients to come into your life. You know, I'll tell you a very, very, very short and quick story about a client that I had obtained when I first started my career in the Pilates industry. So I'm talking about 20 years ago now. And I remember working with this private client who was a very, very affluent client. And I used to go to her house regularly. I used to go to her house 3 times a week. And when I started with her, I was recommended by my beautician. When I started with her, she was so adamant. She was a businesswoman, very affluent businesswoman. She laid down the terms. She said, you come at these times and I'll pay you this rate. And I was still new in the industry and I was very worried about not actually serving her. And I thought, okay, I'll do it. So I started getting more business, growing. My business was growing. I started to get more and more and more clients. And I found actually traveling to my client's house, leaving her, going back to my studio to start sessions with my clients was really draining me. And this wasn't happening once a week. This was happening 3 times a week. And you'd say, yes, you're earning 3 times. You've got 3 sessions a week that you're going to be losing if you say no to her. And this went on for years. And I never actually raised the prices because I was so worried of upsetting her. I was thinking, she knows what she's doing and I know I want to learn from her. And she used to give me some really good business tips. as well. So I was learning at the same time as serving her. But then I realized, hang on a minute, wouldn't I rather actually pay for getting business advice and then work with someone who I know is going to appreciate my services? And you know, she loved me, absolutely loved me. And she kept saying to me, Anita, I don't know what I'd do without you. And you know, we would work so well together. However, it was always draining for me to go to her because I always felt undervalued. I always felt I'm not charging you enough. And after 7 years, I finally dumped her. And I was so relieved when I dumped her. And believe me, guys, I actually had to go to a coach to build my own confidence up, to say to her, I don't want to work with you anymore. If you want to work with me, you're going to have to double the pay, because by then, you know, my rates went higher and higher and higher. The point of the matter is she wasn't willing to, she wasn't ready. Yes, she did offer me a higher rate, but it wasn't what I was asking for. And I thought, you know what? No, because I don't want to have a defunct relationship. I want us to keep working very well together if we are going to continue. And I dumped her, and it was one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life. So don't be afraid of doing that, because once I've dumped her, I went on to working with people who were willing to pay my fees. And I had a long queue and a long waiting list of people who wanted to work with me. So get that fear out of your head and dump the people who are pulling you down, be it your clients, be it your friends, be it your family. Be it your family. Guys, you're here to grow. You're watching this video hopefully because you want to grow your business. But before you grow your business, you got to grow there. You got to grow your mind. You got to grow your head. That's the most important thing. You got to grow emotionally, right? So I really do hope that these 4 things not to do in 2024 are going to help you achieve the successes and the lifestyle that you have always been dreaming of. Guys, I hope you liked the video. If you did, I would love you to hit the like, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Until my next video, hopefully in my new studio. Goodbye.